Take a look at this guy. What a beauty. That's how easy it is. Hey there, thanks for clicking on the video. In this video, I'm gonna show you 2 techniques that you need to be using this winter to make sure you are catching fish. Got one. Yep. Now, in most of the country, the temperature has dropped. That means the fish have basically become dormant. Everything you were doing in the fall is probably not working. In some places still might be working. In some places you might even have ice. If you don't have ice, this is something you can do to make sure you catch fish. Now, I just had a cold front come through after like a nice little warming spell that we had here in North Carolina. The temperatures were up into the 70s for a solid week, and then we had a rainstorm come in with the cold front and it dropped them down to the 30s and 40s. It's only 2 days after the temperatures have dropped, so that means all the fish are either scattered or dormant or down low. Who knows? But I'm going to show you 2 techniques that's going to make it easy for you to find those fish. Now, what we're going to do is start with a micro drop shot. So all you need is a micro drop shot weight, a small hook. This is a 1/80th ounce mule jig. I intentionally chose a small guy because today we're trying to catch anything, big fish, small fish, whatever the pond and the Lord wants to give us. That is what we're going to be trying to catch. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure we're using live bait. So this is my squirm shack. I like to put my worms in here because it insulates them, helps them last longer. You can see them right there. They're still wriggling. I've had this thing in here for over a month. This holds about 1 container of worms, so it'll last a long time. You put them in here, you keep them in your fridge, you keep them, you know, in a cool place, and it'll double insulate them. It'll protect them to last longer. The reason why we are using live bait is because, like I said, I don't know where the fish are. It's been a while since I've hit this body of water. The temperature has changed, so who knows? They could be shallow, they could be out deep, they could be somewhere in between, but this is going to help me narrow that down. Live bait is going to increase our chances of catching a fish, and that's why we're here. So the key to fishing a drop shot is to have some tension in your line. So you can see right now, you can see my line is not on top of the water. The reason why you want to make sure you're doing that is because the purpose of a drop shot, micro drop shot, is to keep the weight on the bottom and your lure off of the bottom. So all I do is I cast it out there, I let it hit the bottom, and then I lift my rod up a little bit, keep my line tight, and keep my line off the water. So if something does hit it, I'll either see my line moving, or I'll see the twitch in the line, or I'll feel it in the rod. But also, more importantly, it's going to keep that worm off of the bottom. And you'll feel a little bit of tension, and that's usually your weight getting not snagged, but like bumping up against something, and that's kind of where you want to sit. Got one. Oh, missed them. Oh man, someone got away with free lunch. That's all right. We finally got a bite though. That's a good sign. Oh. Okay. Right here. Very close. Very close. Right here, huh? Do a small little pitch again. Got one. Oh, it's a largie. Let's go. All right, so that's the first one that we caught. We still have the worm. We're just going to give him a nice little release into the water. Wrong way. There we go. Turn himself around. 3 total bites. One of those a catch. Still haven't quite gotten the pattern down. But we're going to give this technique another like 10 more minutes before we switch to the other one. Again, this technique is all about keeping tension on the line, keeping it a little tight, keeping contact with the bottom, with the weight, not with your lure, or in my case, the worm. So we're just going to keep at it, slowly working it back. Letting it sit. I'm letting it sit for about like 10 to 15 seconds before I decide to move it. You can let it sit longer, but I'm trying to fish a little fast. Alright, it's been a few casts. What that's telling me is the fish aren't really on the bottom. And if they are, they're not hungry. So after this one, oh, come on, come on, got one. Yep, yep. Oh, I spoke too soon. Spoke too soon. Nice little bluegill. Alright, check out that guy. We're gonna put him back. He's freezing. He's freezing. He's freezing. Alright, that told me a lot. Just when I was about to switch up. Now, let's see if that was a fluke or something we can actually bank on. So I'm gonna cast it right back where I was. So it's right about there. I'm just gonna let it sink to the bottom. First one was a bass. Second catch is a bluegill. I was honestly about to just work this in and set up the other technique, but now let's see if it was a fluke. There we go. There we go. Nope. Come on. Whatever's hitting it is small. Oh, another one. Come on. Come on, commit. Commit. Got one. Finally. Oh, it's a nice one. Yep. Yep. There we go. Here's number 3. A little longer. I think it's a female. I don't see any of the bands going up and down it. We're going to put her back. There she goes. She's just burying herself right here. That's so cool. She's finally deciding to swim off. Let's see where she goes. She's hanging out right there. And now I can't see her. The water clarity's gotten so bad that I can't see her now. Should we try one more before we switch? I really want to show you guys the other technique. But this one's working right now, and I don't want to take it off. I've been fishing this entire area for the past like 30-40 minutes trying to find some fish, and now that I found them and now that I'm getting bites, I don't want to give it up. Oh, got one. This one's nice. Was nice. Choked it. This one choked it. It's heavy. You're dense. They're definitely feeding. Look at that. Nice thick boy. Let's get you free. There we go. Another one. Down to the bottom. This one piece of worm's been putting in work for us. Alrighty, the second setup is a little bit more involved. It is a slip float rig. So you see the float right here. It's got the bead on top. The float can move freely until it hits this bobber stop right here. I do have a split shot weight on there to help get this down to the bottom faster, but essentially this is the alternative or the opposite. Instead of suspending it from the bottom up, you're suspending it from the top down, and you have a strike indicator at the top or a float. The only difference is this bobber stop allows you to adjust and go as far or as little as you need to. In this case, we're going to start at a relatively decent length. And the reason I like this is because you can just reel in, and your bobber stop, if you have guides big enough, your bobber stop will go into the guides, and you don't have to worry about having all this line extended out. You can just cast it out there and let it do its thing. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to cast where those other fish were, and we're going to see if those fish were coming from the bottom or if they were dropping down to the lure. So let's cast this out. The other thing to think about is now that you're not holding on to bottom, your float, your whole setup is naturally going to drift into the direction of the current. So you don't really have to do much. You just got to sit here, watch, count even if you want to keep track of how long it's taking to get strikes. I keep track just so I know, like, I'm going to reel it in after like 15 seconds or 20 seconds. Raise the stop a little bit more. This is about 3.5, 4 feet. Again, we're just casting it out there. Trying to find where the fish are. I'm going to switch things up. So I'm going to show you why I switched from a mule jig to a workhorse jig. See if we can see it on the here. So see how it's dropping so much faster now? It wasn't doing that before, and the weight was getting stuck. So now, like that. So now, should have no problem, theoretically. So we're gonna try this again. Got one. Yep, took a minute, but we got him. Hey yo, look at that, right there at the top of the schnoz. Little guy, but we'll take him. That's number 5. Funny thing is I thought I had something earlier because I saw my bobber moving the opposite way of the current. So I was like, I have something there. So I lifted it and I was like, oh, maybe my eyes are just playing tricks on me now. But no, something had it. I'm gonna be honest, this style of fishing is one where you can just pull up a chair, set your rod in a rod holder, and just like chill. Because so far, nothing is happening. Just kind of sitting here for like a few minutes just looking at my bobber. I'm enjoying it, don't get me wrong. This is fun. Like, I enjoy being out here. It's definitely a slower kind of fishing, so if you don't like slow fishing, I wouldn't give this a shot. This is not going to be fast. Because the fish aren't biting fast. They're taking their time, they're being picky, they're being choosy. Metabolism slowed down, so they don't need to eat as much in the winter time. So they're just kind of hanging out. Oh. Yep. Nice. Had my bail all open. Completely not ready for this guy. Nice. Hello. Take a look at this guy. What a beauty. That's how easy it is. Just gotta be a little patient. And on that one, we're gonna call it. These 2 techniques catch fish for me all winter long. They are non-stop fish catchers. If you made it this far on the video, put a fishing emoji down below. Let me know if you use these techniques or what other techniques you use in the winter time, if you're still fishing in the winter time. Everything I use will be down in the description. Happy fishing. God bless.